Hello and welcome to Hot Lips. Today we're going to talk about what to do with your money. So a lot of times in life we don't take time to think. We just get our paychecks and we start spending our money. We don't take time to think about what we're going to do with the money. We just get the money and start to spend it. So this is just some quick little ideas that I want to kind of share with you guys about your money. I know we've talked about in the past, about saving your money, how to divide it up where you're going to be able to live a comfortable life. But today I just want to tell you a few things like, never spend all your money. Never, no matter what happened in life, don't spend all your money. You're going to have to save some money. Prioritize how you're going to save your money. See, a lot of times, like I said, we get that money, we just start spending it. We don't do anything with it. You have to prioritize how you're going to spend your money. Do not ever borrow money you can't pay back. Whatever you do, don't borrow money you can't pay back, because all you've already done is dug yourself in a hole that you cannot dig yourself out of. So when you know that you're getting tight with your money, you have to start thinking about some things you need to do. Okay, do I need to cut back? Do I need to cut my thermostat down? Do I need to not make as much groceries? Do I need to wash my car myself? Prioritize what you're going to be doing with your money. Like I said, don't borrow money that you can't pay back. It's going to make you have damage your credit real bad. You might even lose your house. You might get your car repossessed. There is so much that can happen when you start to borrow money that you cannot pay back. You thinking in your head, oh, I'm going to give it until next week. Your paycheck will be the same amount of money. It ain't increased. So if you've not made other changes, like I said, making sure people laugh sometimes at me because I love to check the thermostat, because I know and I can witness with my sister. She's very cheap person. She's not gonna spend all her money, and so she will cut that thermostat down. And she have a whole 3-bedroom house, 2 bathrooms, and I swear her light bill might not be $70. But she's going to keep that thermostat at a certain amount. She's going to know what to do with her money. So I asked you today just to take time and like I say, don't be thinking about borrowing no money from anybody, And then there's never depend on only one way to make money. Whatever you do, don't depend on one way, because people tell me all the time, well, I wouldn't get no 2 jobs. I just wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do it. I would not have like a little side hustle. I will not invest my money. I'm not. Look, you better think about more than one way to make an income. I'm just going to use some of my family members, for example. They had high profile jobs, but guess what happened? They got laid off. And they was dependent on one way to get their income. Don't do that, people. Figure it out. Just get your little side hustle or get your little part-time job, and then start to develop that money into a good nest egg of money. And then you can take, and people say, well you want me to do this for 5 years? Yes, do it for 5 years. Because when those 5 years come, if you are consistent and disciplined about it, guess what's going to happen? You're going to have some money saved up. You're going to have a much better life. Your mind frame is going to be good, because you don't have to think about, I'm going to get my next dime fund, No, you have something put aside. So like I said, whatever you do not just depend on one way to make money. Investments, part-time job, any kind of little type of side hustle. And then I tell people, sometimes when people get a lot of money, they let money define them, who they are, their happiness, they focus on life, their satisfaction and values. They let the money define who they are. You should be a wholesome, well-rounded person. Do not let money change who you are. Because one thing I've learned about life, and I've looked at many people, when they're at their prime and they're doing great, and money's no object to them, they could be rude and obnoxious and treat people bad. But people, listen to me real good, because I'm old. As you start to age, if you have not prepared yourself, all that will start to dwindle down. Then you let money define who you are. You don't have no real friends. You don't have no cousins that you're close with, because you've let your money define who you are. So like I said, never spend all your money. Never spend all your money. Do not borrow any money. Do not depend on one way to make money. And don't let the money define who you are. There are choices to be made with your money and how you shape your overall well-being. There are choices to be made. So when you're talking about your money, when you figuring out what to do with your money, just remember, like I said, don't ever spend all your money. Do not do that. And do not borrow any money from anybody. If you can, do not. Okay? Don't depend on that just one way. I'm going to get me some money off my job. I'm going to stay there 50 years. That don't work anymore. And then don't ever let money change who you are or define who you are. Be the person that God meant for you to be. Be the person that you know that in 20 years you can still shake that person's hand and y'all can still have a relationship. So like I said, sometimes it's hard for us to figure all this money situation out because, like I said, people telling you to do this, people telling you to do this. It's hard. It is hard. But I'm just asking you to concentrate on making wise decisions as you age. Have a wonderful day.